Good morning, everyone. I thought I would play that little video just to give a little bit of time for people to pop in and join the show. Bob, of course, you were the first one here. Thank you so much. And you always put the nicest comments. I'm glad that you look forward to this to start your day. That's wonderful. And Van Life Rocks. Hello, Ray. Good morning, good morning. I actually get to see you guys in the morning instead of the evening today. Thank you, Bob. I glitched a little bit when I started it, but it should be getting a little bit better. Roy and Becky's Travels. Good morning, good morning. And you guys are on after me today, correct? If you want to put a little comment in there, we will encourage everyone to go watch you once this one is done. All right. So today there should be no feedback. Isn't that going to be an awesome thing? No feedback, no echoing. I'm pretty excited. And it feels so weird for me to do this in the morning. It's just a different way to do it. So I actually had to get cleaned up early today. Go figure. Anyways, I'm going to quit wasting your time and I'm going to introduce Ambolife. I'm super excited to have them here. We're all a part of some of the same Facebook pages because we have ambulance conversions, and they also have a YouTube channel that I've been following. So I'm really excited to talk to them today. I love everything ambulance, so I will bring them up. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi there.
How are you?
Great.
Yeah, we're doing excellent.
Good. And you're in the ambulance, I see.
We are, yeah. Just kind of hanging out. We're in Rapid City right now, so yeah, just traveling on our way to the sugar beet harvest. So we're gonna be there toward the end of this week. So just kind of making our way eastward.
Awesome. You guys actually aren't that far from you. You're pretty much straight south.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Saskatchewan, so I'm directly above North Dakota.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Great.
Yeah. And I mean, compared to everybody else in the US that watches, you are probably the closest to me right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really convenient that we're in the same time zone as well.
Yeah, it made it a lot easier for us to plan around. So how long have you guys had your ambulance?
Let's see. We got it back in June of
2018. Yeah, we got it in June of 2018, and we spent roughly about a year converting it.
Were you living in it when you converted it?
No, we were actually living in a small, like a one-bedroom apartment that we had been renting, and we converted it over about a year period, just like working on weekends on it. We were actually both working full time at the time. So what we would do is we would just kind of work on it on the weekends and take it to like the Home Depot parking lot nearest us and work on it then, just like spend the entire day kind of cranking through and kind of redoing it as we went. And we hit the road in July of last year. So we've been on the road for about a year and 2 months now.
So how has that been?
Great. It's been kind of a mind-blowing year. Honestly, we've just met all kinds of amazing people that you'd never expect to meet otherwise, and just done a variety of really interesting jobs. We've done like the sugar beet harvest. We did that last fall, so we're going to come back and do it again this year too. Yeah.
Wow. Now I know you guys had quite a breakdown for a while, and you just took a job at the local Walmart just to get you through. How was that?
So what happened during the whole shutdown that began in March due to COVID, we hunkered down in the Alabama hills for about 6 to 7 weeks. And for anybody that doesn't know where or what the Alabama hills is, it's this huge swath of BLM land in California. It's right near Death Valley. And 100 Western movies have been filmed there since the early 30s. And so it's a huge area of beautiful rock formations and hiking. And so we went into the desert there and spent about 7 weeks there, just kind of sitting there while COVID happened and everything was shut down. And what happened was a couple of rodents moved into our rig and decided to choose through some wiring. And that caused us to have a lot of transmission problems.
Oh no.
Yeah, so we had to get towed, and the nearest major city was Carson City. So, and we had never been there, so we're like, okay, well, we'll just get towed there. And it turned out that the Ford dealership, because our transmission had a warranty on it, and they couldn't see us for another like 5 weeks out. And we thought, oh, what are we going to do now? So then we got the vehicle to Walmart, like just barely, kind of pulled in. And we're like, well, I guess we'll just stay here for a bit. And we were in there shopping one day, and I looked down and I saw a sign that said, we're hiring, currently hiring. And I was like, oh, well, I wonder what for. Maybe we could work here for a bit. So we were working in the online grocery pickup. And, due to all the stuff with COVID, actually the online grocery pickup has really picked up a lot at Walmart. So they're hiring a lot of temp workers to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that worked out well, even though it was a terrible situation to be in, right?
Oh, yeah. We were like literally camped there for like 2.5 months, right across from like, Chipotle and Jiffy Lube. We're like, well, just kind of got through this. Just got to get through it.
I love how resilient you guys are. That's very inspirational.
Thanks.
So I imagine that was pretty expensive to fix.
Yeah, it actually wasn't as expensive as we thought it would be because it was just a wiring harness. So all in all, the grand totals of the repairs for that were like $500.
Oh, thank goodness.
The most expensive thing was the tow. We had to get the ambulance towed 125 miles to Carson City. And AAA would not cover our tow because even though we had the RV package with AAA, they said since the ambulance was modified from its original manufacturing state, they did not honor our RV membership with AAA. So they covered none of the costs, so we had to pay a $1,600 tow to Carson City.
Oh, that just took my breath away. Well, you know what? And I've had a similar problem here because I have CAA, which is a counterpart to your AAA. And they wouldn't help me because I'm an E450. So they say I'm heavy duty. Anything over an E350, no, they won't touch it.
Same here.
Yeah, we're an E450 as well. We have a 2002 Ford E450.
And I have a 2005 E450. Yeah, it's terrible because I called again anonymously saying, okay, well, if I get the RV package, will that make a difference? Again, no, too big.
Yeah, I talked to about 6 people at AAA, and they all told me the same exact thing. And it was like, well, I wish there was something that we could do, but we can't do anything. So I canceled AAA and got the roadside assistance through our insurance carrier, which is Progressive in the U.S. And I told them exactly what we had, and I said, well, we had AAA, and they wouldn't cover us. Would you be able to tow us? So Progressive will be able to tow our rig in the eventuality that we need it.
Well, I'm glad you guys figured that out. I haven't done a bunch of research yet, but our insurance for our vehicles is a very different setup than it is for you in the United States. So yeah, I still have to figure out what I'm going to do. Because I took a lot of comfort in the fact that I thought I had insurance coverage.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it was actually good because with working at Walmart, we were able to cover all the expenses, the tow expense, the vehicle repairs, and we actually came out a little ahead by working at Walmart.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, Van City Adventure says same with one of their work vehicles. They have a Chevy Express Cube van. Wouldn't have been covered. That's just terrible. And Thrash Metal in Fun Riff says insurance and then some credit cards have free roadside assistance. I do know we have Canadian Tire here. That's kind of our catch-all for everything we need to buy. And I know there's some kind of assistance program through there that I'm definitely going to have to look into. Because yeah, $1,600.
Yeah, I mean, it took us because a lot of the jobs at Walmart, they pay like maybe $12-13 per hour, and so we were working almost full time for a good 2 months, and and we were able to cover it, but it took two people working full time, so especially with one person, it's like that's even more of a hit, right? And so everything actually worked out really well. It really kind of, I don't know, it really reinforced this notion in my mind that like things can seem really inconvenient and kind of unfortunate or maybe unlucky at the time, but I have to be open to the fact that sometimes other doors open when you least expect it. And so in a way, like things actually worked out kind of more perfectly than I could have imagined. Even though the circumstance at the time was really hard. So, yeah.
Wow, that's so positive of you. You're such a good role model.
I think that goes with living on the road. You really have to expect the unexpected, as everybody has this year with the whole pandemic and people losing their jobs and, everything. You have to assess the situation and just make the best of it. People are in more dire straits than we are, and it's kind of like, well, things could be worse. You just have to look at positive aspects of the situation that you're in and not let it bog you down and be kind of
a drag.
Yeah.
Wow. So how have you been supporting yourselves? You said you did that one harvest. You had that stretch working at Walmart. Like, did you have savings before you started or a plan?
Yeah, so we definitely saved a bit before we started. We were living in a really, really expensive area. So we weren't able to save like a ton, but we were able to save kind of a nice like emergency fund, which I would definitely recommend because you never know when you're going to have to get towed. As we've gotten towed 2 times now, so now it's like
2 times.
Yeah, there was another thing about a year ago when our transmission like fully went and we had to get a new transmission. It was actually on our way from Sioux Falls to Rapid City. The transmission just went, so we got a whole new tranny with a 3-year warranty. It really made me realize that you kind of have to have a bit of an emergency fund, like a few $1,000s or something to cover something like that. So we saved up for those kinds of things. And then, we were doing the sugar beet harvest. And at the beet harvest, they don't like guarantee what you'll make. It kind of varies year to year. But a lot of people, like on average, they make like at least 3,500 each. And which, for a lot of people, if you're living on a very like low budget kind of van lifestyle, like you can go a ways on that, right? And so and you can even make more too if you do like the harvest in multiple states, because the states don't all do the harvest at the same time. So some people will actually work the harvest in like Minnesota and then they'll go to like Michigan later, and you can really, save up a good chunk of change from that. So that, and then we worked for a little while at the Grand Canyon because their concessionaires hire people to work like at the restaurant or at the general store or various other places in the park. And there are a lot of national parks that hire people on a temporary basis as well. So that's another great option.
So do you guys have a video out there with different nomadic traveling kind of occupations that are available?
That's a really great question. I did a couple videos about Walmart because they're everywhere. I don't think we did one about the Grand Canyon, but we're planning on doing some videos about the sugar beet harvest this time around. it's our second time and we kind of like know what's what now. And so we can give detailed information, because a lot of people, they'll say like, oh, are you actually out there like picking beets? And we're like, nope, it's not nearly like that. You're just directing the trucks basically that come in, and it's you're just kind of standing a lot for 12 hours at a time, but you're not like in the field picking beets. It's it's not like that.
I think it would be really interesting if you guys put something together with the variety of things that you've done. Like, I never thought of a touristy job like at the Grand Canyon. Never even crossed my mind that would be an option. And that's such a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, neither of us had ever worked retail, so it was kind of like we hadn't even thought of it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of resources online. There's a lot of remote jobs that are really tailored towards nomads and people living on the road. And so I think if you just do, a couple of Google searches, you'll be able to find these opportunities out there. Like the sugar beet harvest, they need thousands of people. They depend upon RVers and nomads that come in, because the local workforce, they can't depend on the local workforce because it's only for 3 weeks out of the month. So people who live locally in one of the sugar beet states, if they're already working the job, they can't take 3 weeks off of their job to work the sugar beet harvest. So they depend on thousands of RVers just like us to come in and work this job.
So do they have anything set up to make it easier for you guys to live there and work there for those few weeks?
Yes, they provide a campsite with full hookups, depending on if you need power, water, sewer. They provide showers and everything. And you're usually in an area where you have access to grocery stores and other amenities like that. So they really have a smooth setup for people to come in and start working immediately.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm just going to take a second and say hello to some more people that popped in. Van City Adventures is here. Kids74, good morning. Thank you so much for popping in. Oh, do you know that one?
No.
I don't know you, but
oh, I love seeing people pop in. Yeah, I like it when they chat with one another. So I see some wood on the doors above you. Like, did you tear a lot of the ambulance apart and rebuild it, or did you build upon what was already there?
We worked with the existing structure right above here. You'll see the wood, as you mentioned. There were these polycarbonate slider doors that were there, and it made it look very medical, very sterile. Yeah. So we took those out, and these are actually old IKEA bed slats that we were given to by a friend. And so we just cut those down and put those in here, and we did that to a lot of the cabinets in here. These are clothes storage right above the bed. So
did you put different hinges on that one then? On that side?
We repurposed the piano, the piano hinges on top, and we just put barrel locks to lock the doors so they don't fly open when we're driving. And we just bought extra hardware at Home Depot for those.
See, for mine, yeah, I have the same sliders. And on that side where you are, it just slides. And then on the other side, the top ones lift up. Okay. Or slide. But I just painted mine black. I put in some silver doorknobs, right? Just in those sliders. So I really cheaped out.
Yeah.
That was so nice.
Oh, thank you. We actually just got some this 1/4-inch pine paneling too, which we just literally just nailed into the wall. I mean, we didn't really do much. We just put it in, and we found that it just really makes it look a lot more like a cabin on the inside.
Very cozy. Very cozy. I love that. So did you add insulation in first too? Like, you had some insulation. You didn't add any additional?
No. We just put it over the existing walls. Yep.
Okay.
Wow. And so we installed a diesel heater back in February. So we just bought a diesel heater from Amazon, And that was a fairly straightforward install because there's a lot of videos up on YouTube about people installing diesel heaters in their rig, and that has worked out extremely well as a heat source.
Yeah, that's what I'm saving up right now for. Did you tap yours in your diesel tank? Or did you keep
No.
it separate? No?
So we actually just decided to use the little plastic diesel tank that comes with it because our current tank is actually kind of rusty. So we're actually getting a new tank this week because some like leakage issues from it. So we're like, it's probably time to replace that tank. Yeah.
Okay. And so what area do you have it set up in your ambulance for the heater?
It's in the back cabinet. There's a big, long, tall storage cabinet on the back passenger side. So we have the diesel heater in there, and that also houses April's cello as well.
Okay. So does the diesel heater put out any extra heat in that cabinet? Like, is your cello okay in there with it that way?
Yeah, so it does put out a tiny bit of extra heat, which is actually really nice because if we're in a really cold area, I know that the cello isn't experiencing such intense temperature changes. So that when I noticed that once we started running it, I thought, oh, that's actually awesome because it just makes it a little bit warmer inside there.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. So do you have a 6-liter then?
It's a 5-liter tank.
Oh, no, sorry. I mean your engine for your ambulance. Is it a 6-liter or 7.3?
7.3 power stroke.
Okay. So did you do a lot of research on what kind of ambulance to buy? Because I did none when I bought mine, and I got a 6-liter.
Yeah, it took I researched it for a few months, and because I knew absolutely nothing about diesel engines. And so I was looking online about the model years and the type of engines, and a lot of recommendations really directed me towards the 7.3 power stroke.
So you knew you wanted an ambulance before you bought it.
Yeah, because we actually had a cargo van before. We had the Ford E350 cargo van that somebody had already converted, and we had that for 2 years while we were living near Boston. And so we would take that out on weekend trips, and we would go up to New Hampshire and Vermont and Maine on a lot of hiking trips. And so having that, we decided that we need a vehicle with that we could stand up in, and that we could also have more storage in too. And I started seeing people with ambulances popping up on Facebook, and I was like, wow, I actually never thought of an ambulance and the storage and just all the other amenities that go with the ambulance. I was like, wow, that's a really great idea, and I think it's a great vehicle for people who are just looking to get into mobile living and not wanting to do an entire conversion.
That was the charm that I fell in love with too. I just wished I had a different engine. Although, I might get badged to help me bulletproof it or see if it has been, because I have a ridiculously high amount of mileage on it. And I'm thinking something has to have been done that a 6-liter engine has lasted that long. Do you guys have high miles on yours?
Ours is only about 150,000 miles.
Okay.
Which I think for the 7.3 is quite low. But I've also heard that with the 6.0s, there are a lot of like different modifications that you can do to actually make them run pretty well. It's just you have to with someone who like knows that, like knows what to do. Yeah.
Well, I do know someone that could help me with it. He's only 10 hours away. And I mean, if he could help Jack Austin turn his bus into canola oil burning, then I'm pretty sure I could get him to help me.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because we actually met Badge at Schoolie Palooza in and he's a super nice guy, and so with he can tackle pretty much anything. So I think if you get the opportunity to get together with Badge, I'm sure he could very well take care of you.
He's a fellow Canadian and he's only 10 hours away. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to randomly show up one day.
Sounds good.
Yeah, definitely. So what are your plans now? Once you do the harvest, what's next?
So things are kind of like up in the air as far as what we're going to do next. We're kind of figuring it out as we go, honestly. Yeah. Our families are all on the East Coast, so we may just kind of go to the East Coast for the holidays, and then from there we'll just kind of figure it out, and coming into the new year.
Mm-hmm. Just one day at a time, hey?
Yeah. And as I'm looking into a career, getting a job as a park ranger at one of the national parks, and looking into taking a program at a college called Skagit Community College in Washington State, and they offer a 4-month training course to become a park ranger law enforcement officer. And so you can get a 6-month seasonal job at any of the national parks in the United States as a law enforcement officer. So I'm looking into taking that program next year. So either the winter semester or the fall semester of next year. So I'm currently researching that and contacting the people at Skagit about taking that program next year.
That is a brilliant idea. Oh my goodness, that fits so perfectly with the lifestyle.
Yeah, no, isn't it great? Yeah.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Oh, Ambolife, that's amazing, buddy. That's always been my dream job, says DJ Plus Big Outdoors.
Oh, awesome.
You guys you research a lot, apparently, and you've come up with so many different things that are such great ideas.
Thanks. Just, trying to kind of
have the YouTube channel.
Oh, it's actually interesting because when we first started out, we had no inclination or motivation about doing a YouTube channel. But when we were in Tucson for a couple weeks and we reached out, we saw one of Bob Wells' live streams. He's has the Cheap RV Living website, and he's kind of like van life Jesus.
Yeah.
And so he said he was looking for people to interview on his channel to do rig tours, and because he interviews a lot of people that have interesting stories and rigs. And so we reached out to him about doing a rig tour, and he said, yeah, I'll do a rig tour before the RTR. And so we met up with him in Parker, Arizona before the RTR started, and he interviewed us and toured our rig. And he asked us, he was like, oh, do you have a YouTube channel or anything? Because you two really do well on camera. You're kind of naturals. And we were like, well, we actually never thought of it or planned on it. And he actually encouraged us to start a YouTube channel. And so that was like put something in our minds. And we met a couple people at the party that said, wow, you two, a couple living in an ambulance. There aren't too many couples living in an ambulance on YouTube. So it really kind of encouraged us. They said, this is really something that you should look into. So we started, I believe it was February of this year. We started a YouTube channel and kind of, got it going in February.
Wow, just February. You guys have grown so quickly. Like, have you... are you monetized already? I know you definitely have the subscribers.
I don't believe so, because you need 2 things to get monetized. You need over 1,000 subscribers, and you need over 4,000 hours of watch time. And so we're still creeping up on that 4,000 hour mark. And so it's great to, just get those videos out there and educate people as to what's out there, and really kind of encourage people as, whoever you are, whatever walk of life, this lifestyle is very open for anybody to
Yeah.
consider.
Just a reminder to anyone in the chat or anyone that's watching this later, the channel link for today's guest is below in the video description, and I definitely encourage you guys to take a peek at their channel. I find it quite interesting, and you guys are so easy to watch. You are naturals.
That's well. Thank you for saying that. I find that for me, I grew up with a stutter, and so like being on the camera was honestly the last thing on my mind ever. And so it just really shows me that like sometimes you just need a little encouragement to like conquer your fear of something and just get out there and do it. You know, it's like learning how to drive or, you know, starting a new job or anything that's new, that's kind of like growing pains, you know.
Yeah.
And there's this feeling of triumph when you can like overcome your fear of something. It's really amazing. I like encourage anybody to try it who maybe isn't real comfortable on camera, or maybe is kind of uncomfortable with public speaking. It's really amazing what you can overcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the nice thing about doing your own videos versus live, although you're doing great on live, but when you're doing a video, you can control that entire environment, and you can do a take 2, 3, 4, whatever's necessary, right?
It's great. Yeah. And I've really gotten into the video editing part, you know, just like using iMovie, learning how to like splice stuff. And it's just really, it's really been a lot of fun. It's been a great learning curve. Like I've really enjoyed learning something new. And yeah, it just kind of, it's nice to just kind of be yourself and not really try to fit some kind of mold, because who wants to be like everybody else? That's boring, right?
But that's how we're raised. We're raised to fit into all these different ideals and the way that we live our life and stuff. And then, to all of a sudden push yourself through that and break through the other side, it is so empowering.
Yeah. I mean, it's really far more than just making videos. There's like so much more like personal growth that comes with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Devin, you look like there's something on your mind.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just thinking about the whole YouTube thing, and I think it's really exciting once you put that video out there to get the feedback from the community and everybody commenting and encouraging you, and also giving feedback. If you're doing an instructional video or, you know, really kind of retelling a place that you've been or showing people new things, people give you new ideas and feedback and putting a different spin on what you've presented. And so I think it also causes you to rethink what, if you may have any preconceived notions, or pose a question out to the community to get almost instant feedback from people that you may have never been able to encounter before. So that's one of the positives of social media, is to present something out there and be able to get an almost instantaneous response.
Yeah, I love this 360 gal. She was on last night and she said, "It's good to see you. Your ammo tour helped me to decide to buy mine." Oh my God, isn't that a fabulous piece of feedback right there?
Yeah. So we got a chance to meet Michelle at a couple of van gatherings this past winter, and she had like this really, you know, full-size school bus with a raised roof and like a wood stove, and it was so cool to see her rig, and she saw our rig, and it's just been so like amazing to see other people's rigs and their other ideas. It's just like really inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's such a great way to meet people with similar interests. You guys, it's killing me that I'm not on the road right now, and I wanted to come down to the US this winter, but worldwide events, right? Kind of need that, but it's still going to happen yet. And I'm just so excited. Like when you guys say, "Oh, I met Dutch and I met 360 gal," and I'm like, "Oh, you're living the life I want to live right now."
Well, it'll make you all the more thankful for it once it does happen, right?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely need to get a couple more things done in my ambulance and make sure that I feel safer and a little more secure to do some traveling in it. But I do feel like it's a great unit for me to be traveling alone in. Like
Oh,
I feel like I'm safe in it.
yeah, they're such stout vehicles. They're such like sturdy built vehicles. And have you decided where you're going to put your diesel heater?
Well, I did consider the tapping it into the diesel tank, but knowing the way I function, I'll end up running out of diesel and I'll not be able to start it. So I think I'm going to put mine actually on the opposite side, actually close to where the heater is in the back.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And just kind of put it in that exterior cabinet and just vent it in.
Yep.
That. So then when I'm filling up my fuel tank, I'm filling up that tank on the same side.
Great. Yeah, one thing I would definitely recommend is definitely like when you're positioning the tank, make sure that it's angled. That's really important, and it'll say in the instructions like what direction to angle it. Make sure it's angled, and make sure that it's in a place where you can just put that nozzle in and fill it up. That's what we did, and it works like a charm.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
those simple things like can a hose, like the way you have it, that a hose can actually connect in it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I think it's so great. I mean, we're on YouTube right now. You can pretty much search anything on YouTube, and somebody probably has done it before. So you can really gain the experience that somebody else has gone through. And, you know, I believe that you interviewed Dave, the Campulance man.
Oh, yes.
And we met him at the Partio. He was the first person that we met in a converted ambulance. We pulled up the first night into the Partio. We saw an ambulance and we're like, oh my gosh, another converted ambulance. And we parked right next to him and met him the next morning. And he was a super nice guy. And he had just bought a diesel heater and he was in the process of installing it on his ambulance. So we were able to ask him a lot of questions about his ambulance and what he had done. So I think, especially going to these nomad gatherings, you can get a lot of ideas and encouragement from other nomads as well.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And the Facebook page that we're all a part of, you know, with the ambulance conversions, I think that's just a fantastic resource.
Oh, yeah. Because you can, I can pretty much put out any question there and, you know, somebody will chime in with some ideas and all sorts of things. So it's just a wealth of information on all those different Facebook groups.
Do you find now that every time you see an ambulance, it stands out to you? Like, do you feel like there's more ambulances in the world now that you live in one?
Definitely. And in fact, yes, I think it was yesterday, we actually literally pulled up next to an ambulance at a stoplight, an ambulance, like a converted ambulance. It was the kind of like the van style ambulance. And we pulled up next to them and I'm like, hey, nice ride, you know, and that was like a really cool, like first time experience actually pulling up in like traffic next to one.
I know my brother lives in Vancouver and he saw a converted ambulance on the road and took a picture and sent it to me. And I was like, he goes, should I tell them to check out your channel? I said, no, ask them how they got their kayak on the roof.
I know. How do you do that? It's so tall. Like,
I know. I would love to take a kayak with me, but I don't know how on earth they get it up there. And if you're expecting me to have the strength to do it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, same here. I mean, we were thinking about getting like an inflatable one because it makes them pretty cool, like pretty durable inflatables. We just haven't done it yet, but that's a good option too. Or even like an inflatable stand-up paddleboard too.
Yeah,
could be good.
Yeah, they're incredible how those are built. I was surprised at how sturdy they are until I've seen people with them, and I just go up to anybody that has them. Like, can I see this? And how much air pressure is in there? And
yeah, I mean, and I've seen other people who like mount. I don't know if your vehicle has a ladder mounted on the outside. We just have
Not
one of
yet.
those comfortable like aluminum ladders that we just have in one of our storage cabinets. But even with that, I wouldn't want to be trying to get things off the roof. I don't know. I I think that some people's ambulances are definitely a bit shorter than ours, but I think for ours it would be a little bit challenging.
Tipsy Gypsy says you guys parked by her at Schoolie Palooza. Say hi, remind them of my teal bus.
Oh yeah,
Hi.
hello. Yeah, we remember you, Tipsy Gypsy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so great going to Schoolie Palooza because even though it was kind of centered around people in schoolies, there were so many other rigs there too. They were all inclusive of people living in all types of vehicles. So it was great to meet a wide variety of people at Schoolie Palooza. So.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about an ambulance too. I feel like a person's been welcomed into all the different groups. Like I've been invited to join groups with vans, right? I've been invited to join stuff with bus conversions. It's like we're that anomaly in the middle, but we kind of fit in everywhere, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, because I think, we all have that common thread as nomads, and we
Mhm.
just have a different, vehicle that we're living and traveling in. So, we all have a lot of commonalities in all of us, which is great.
Yeah, it really brings people together. I think that's the most beautiful thing about the lifestyle.
Oh yeah, and just meeting like people who, everything from, single people to families of 5 living on the road. And one of the cool things was that going from the RTR to Schoolie Palooza, completely different vibe, different culture, different age ranges. Schoolie Palooza is very like family oriented. You see a lot of kids, a lot of families, but also lots of people like us who are, single people or couples and people of all ages. And that's one of the things about it that to me was surprisingly rich about going to these events was that the other thing too is just sitting outside and just striking up conversations with all kinds of people just walking by. It actually made socializing really easy, and it was almost like a village kind of setup where,
Yeah,
yeah, this is the way that humans are wired to socialize and to form bonds is organically in this kind of like huge like village, and you form like little subgroups and stuff, and you can go from group to group and everything's very fluid.
yeah.
It's very organic in the way that we meet other people. It's really nice.
Oh, I just can't wait. You're killing me here. But that's a nice thing. A person so many times will live in the sticks and bricks and they don't know their neighbors. I mean, I do know my neighbors. There's a group of us in a row that are all single women that own our homes.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
that's great.
There's times where I've lived in a city, I've lived in an apartment, I don't even know who lives next door. But I also don't know what to talk to them about. But I think when you're out and you're doing the nomadic lifestyle, there's so many things that can be a
Oh,
conversation starter.
oh yeah.
Yeah, because you can all talk about shared experiences and just talk about where you've been and where you're going. Also your backgrounds too. Just what led you to living this lifestyle, and everybody has their own unique story. So I believe it's just so amazing to hear where people have been and
Yeah.
where they're going as well.
Yeah. And that's so true. Everybody does have a story, don't they?
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing is you really can't judge a person by first appearances or what you believe that you know you may think who they are or what they do. You really need to listen to their background and listen to what they've been through in life, and I believe that you'll learn some amazing things, and you'll be
Yeah.
pretty blown away by just what they think and why they think it, and also just really listening. And I think it's a great rule just to live life by.
Yeah. Before our hour is up, anybody that is a moderator, could you drop your links in the chat? And I also really want to encourage everybody to take some time today and check out Ambolife, because they're not that far for their hours to get monetized. And I would really like to see that happen. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be just, another source of income and another way to reach out to more people, because I think a lot of people are looking for different options, and people who live in a traditional house or any type of lifestyle, they're just looking for ideas and another way of expanding their minds and expanding just a way to live this life that we're all living. There's not one, and there's not one best way to live this life. There are many multiple options.
Yeah.
We just found one of those options, and it's good for us, but it may not be good for another person.
Yeah. 360 Gal asked how it was living and working in the Walmart parking lot a few years ago. So she didn't obviously, she wasn't here. Michelle wasn't here when we first started, but
so
would you recommend that as an option?
Yeah, I would. I mean, you're walking a lot. We walk about 8 or 9 miles every day. So ooh, it's a very physical job, the online grocery pickup. There's a lot of like pushing big carts with lots of like containers of soda and that kind of thing. And Devin was like going out and carrying all the groceries out to the customers. So it's definitely physical. It's the hours, you can very much have a lot of control over how many hours you want to work. So that's kind of nice. The physicality of it can be nice if you're looking for that. I mean, I definitely got a lot stronger doing that job. And you can do it pretty much anywhere that has the online grocery, especially these days. I think they're all looking for help doing that.
Yeah.
And I also did a really detailed video talking about everything from the pay to exactly what the work is like, and that's in our YouTube channel.
Oh, that's another thing I'm gonna have to go back and watch. I must have missed that one.
Yeah, it's one of our recent videos. We've taken a little hiatus on posting videos just because we're at Walmart for almost 10 weeks, and just to kind of regroup and, get back into the whole stride of, being back on the road and, finding our equilibrium where we're going and everything. And so we're gonna be posting some videos soon, but it was definitely challenging because we were also living in the parking lot. So being in the parking lot, it was definitely challenging, just heat wise, and as we all know, parking and living in the parking lot isn't the most ideal situation, just due to a variety of circumstances.
And for that long.
Yeah, we made it work, and I think you just, whatever circumstances you find yourself in, you just kind of make the best of it. And it's like, well, we're not going to be here for the rest of our lives. We're only here for a limited amount of time. So you kind of have that mindset of, well, we're going to be here, maybe for a month or two, and then we're going to move on. So yeah.
It definitely sometimes felt like that movie Groundhog Day. It's like, oh, now I'm going in here again, putting on my mask. It's like
I can only imagine. My goodness. So is it difficult traveling with a partner? Like, does it really test your relationship?
Oh yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
So I'm an introvert, and I need alone time every day. At least half an hour. So I go on a lot of walks. Sometimes I'm like, nothing personal, but I'm just gonna take a walk, and I'll see you in an hour. And so collect my thoughts and just kind of let my brain take like a breather just from solitude by having solitude. And so that's something that I've really discovered, that we both discovered, that we each need, time alone, and that can be,
Mhm.
healthy once you really recognize that.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think living in such close quarters, sometimes it accentuates, whatever is going on. If you're facing any issues or have any interpersonal things going on, it kind of heightens those things.
Oh,
And to have a clear and open line of communication is definitely key. When something comes up, to talk about it and really get that out there. You really can't stew on something and say, well, I'm going to talk about this later, because you're only living in 5 feet proximity from each other. There's nowhere to run, or there's nowhere to go in the ambulance. So it's like, well, the problems are right here, so we got to discuss these things and talk about them. So I think it really accentuates the communication in that relationship. So I think that's been a huge positive for us, because that's really helped us to work on that. And uh, yeah,
That's so awesome to hear, because you do hear of, like, well, for example, different van life creators that, a channel starts with a couple and next thing you know, it's a solo person, right? Like it kind of makes a person wonder sometimes. Relationships are difficult anyways.
yeah,
Right. But I
yeah.
think the way you were talking about, taking that time for yourself, taking that walk, I think everybody needs to learn to do that. Right? Because if
Yeah.
you're together all the time and you're working together, like, do you run out of things to talk about?
oh yeah. I mean, there are times when I'm just like, we've been together all day, and we both experienced the same things, and then I'm like, I think I just need some space, to like go out and you kind of have to let your brain kind of clear and like crunch on things in your subconscious. And this the whole idea of like flow and having some activity that you're doing where you're not really consciously thinking about it, so that your brain has a chance to crunch on all the subconscious material. And, I was listening to a TED talk a few months ago on how going through periods when you're bored is actually a really good thing, because it enables your brain to actually think about those things that usually we're too distracted to think about. And that's been one of the things that has been kind of nice, is that we've had the time to actually get to that point where you can solve some of your best problems in the shower or on a walk, or sometimes you'll get this kind of mental breakthrough that a life full of stimulation and social media and your job and all these things that keep us extremely busy, your brain can never get to it. And so that's been one of the most valuable things of having some extra time, and also being together so much that we seek those moments of solitude.
That is some great information. That is really valuable for anybody, right? Whether you're in a partnership or traveling on your own, it is good to take that time for some reflection, or to stay away from a little bit of the social media, a little bit of that blue light in our faces all day. I know I spent a couple weeks out and about this summer in my ambulance, and I mean, I do have solar power, but it's limited. And I did a lot more reading. I slept so much better. It was a really positive experience.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to engage in physical activity while
Mhm.
you're traveling. And we do a lot of hiking and biking. And so we find when we bike a lot and hike a lot, it just, that just benefits you in so many ways. So I think living on the road and being nomadic maybe enable you to do that more than if you lived in a six of bricks or an apartment. Because we would find ourselves living in the apartment, we would have days where we would just sit around and not really get outside that much. So I think it really may not forces you, but enables you more to get out, because you're seeking to do things outside of the rig more than you are if you're in another type of dwelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. D90 Bell says it. You guys are such positive people, and the things you're saying really are so true.
Thanks.
We only have a few minutes left because we're gonna raid Roy and Becky's channel. So Roy and Becky, if you guys are still here, can you drop your link? But I gotta ask you the question everybody asks: how do you go to the bathroom in the ambulance? Do you have a system set up in there?
So we typically just rely on like gas stations, truck stops, stuff like that. We don't have like a true composting toilet in case of, emergencies, or if you're at like a nomad gathering. We do have like the bucket system,
Okay.
which lately we haven't had to use because we've just been on the road. So we definitely do have that as an option.
Yeah.
And you, for showers, you don't have a shower set up in there, do you? No, I don't either. I feel like it would be too much condensation.
Yeah, and just that's the amount of room that it takes up. It would take a lot of storage, and also we boondock a lot, so we spend a lot of time on BLM land and national forest. And usually, if you're out on BLM land, there's really nobody else around. So we have a USB powered, like, kind of shower pump. So we just use a 5-gallon bucket and use that shower. And when we find ourselves in cities, we have a Planet Fitness membership. So we have a Black Card membership with Planet Fitness, and that allows us both to use the membership. And that's what we did this morning. We're actually in the Planet Fitness parking lot right now. So we just went to the shower this morning, took our showers, and it's extremely easy.
But there must have been a period of time where gyms were not open,
Yeah.
right? So how did you manage then?
Well, when we were living in the Walmart parking lot, there was actually a state park not too far away from us. So we would go to the state park, and there was a $5 a day use fee. So we would spend the entire day there. They had a lake and barbecue pits and everything, and they also had a campground there too with showers. And so we would go to the showers at the campground. And most campgrounds that you go to, you may be able to pay a very small fee, like a few dollars, and be able to use the shower at the campground. Or, as I said, if you're on BLM land, you could just take a shower out in the open.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. Oh, you guys, thank you so much for coming on my channel. It has just been such a blessing. You guys are the greatest couple.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having us. It was great. It was fun.
It's so great to have the opportunity to be on your channel and, to reach out to all your subscribers and everybody else out there.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bottom of my heart, thank you. And I mean, personally, too, that's the best thing about doing these interviews. I get to ask people that I really want to learn from to come onto the channel with me.
Really, really, fun, for us too.
Well, I strongly encourage everyone to go check out their channel. The wide variety of information there. You guys will really enjoy it. And we are going to raid Roy and Becky's Travels. Their morning show just went live. So with that, I want to thank everyone, and I hope you have a great day. I'm back at 7 o'clock. I'm back in 8 hours. And I have another interview today. So I will see you guys then. Aaron,
Awesome.
Thank you.
Just popped in and we're just popping out, but I'll see you again later this evening. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, they're just such a wonderful couple, you guys. What a blessing that was. All right. I'll see you guys in a few more hours.